let's start with this. I know I promised that I would have a video for every episode of Star Trek Discovery, and anyone who's subscribed to this channel or who knows me might have noticed that last week, nothing at all. This is because, sometimes things can happen. Sometimes life happens, and life, it finds a way of messing you up. So, I didn't manage to get a video done last week. By the time I got round to sort of going, I need to do this video, the newest episode was out, and it didn't feel like there was much of a point of doing it at that point. So, just to recap episode 3, we went to Earth. Earth had become an asshole. They were fighting against an unknown assailant who turned out to also be a human, and then they stopped being assholes, and then they all sat under a tree at the end. Needless to say, it's my favourite episode. Absolutely loved it. Now, normally I'd turn around and say, what do I want to see in the next episode? Kinda seems a little bit irrelevant now because, just a quick reminder, before you start watching this video, make sure you hit subscribe and alerts so that you get a notification every time a new video drops. Also, you can come and follow me over on Twitch, where I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And of course, if you want to, come and join the Discord channel. But please, enjoy the video. Let's talk about Season 3, Episode 4, Forget Me Not. So, one of the things that... get my head together. So I started doing these review videos at the beginning of the season of Star Trek Discovery, and I like the first 2 that I did, but I'm always looking to improve. So you might notice we're going to do things a little bit differently before, because what I used to do was I used to run you through the entire episode, but let's be honest, if you're watching this, it's because you've seen the episode already and you just want to hear what I've got to say about it. Or if you want to hear what I say about it, why do you want to hear what I've got to say about it? I'm just going to tell you that stuff. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to run you through exactly what happens in the episode. I will talk about what I like about it. I will talk about what I don't like about it. I'm just going to be honest. This is going to be a more of a stream of consciousness, if I'm completely honest. So let's just dive in and talk about the episode. This was the most Star Trek episode of this season so far. The last episode, episode 3, my favourite. Loved it. Didn't expect it. Just thought it was brilliant. But this was the most Star Trek of all episodes. So we had our A and our B story, right? Our A story involved Adira going back to getting taken back to Trill to try and sort of rekindle her memories, right? And she goes there with Michael because Culber thinks that would be a good idea. I don't really quite understand Culber's thinking behind it, but hey, do you know what? Plot point. So Michael and Adira go to the planet. Of course, the Trill are no longer part of the Federation, but unlike Earth, they're not assholes. So they go in, they won't help her. They go, oh yeah, we got a Trill symbiote here. And they go, where is it? Inside the human. And they go, fuck off. So they won't help her because she's human. In the end, one of them does. Z helps them out, but not after they got accosted by one of the Trills who's like, we need to take this Trill back even if it kills the human. And Michael shows a little bit of badass in her. She shows that time in the future has changed her. It's not Starfleet protocol. That's what she does. But it turns out, so Z comes along and says, hey, I'm going to help you out, help you regain your memories. So they go to the pools. Now, we've seen the pools before. We saw them briefly in Deep Space Nine, but now we get to see them in full. So we go to the pools. Adira goes in. She gets sucked in. The other Trills turn up and they go like, you're breaking the law or whatever, and so forth. That made no sense. I need to learn how to articulate myself rather than just going so on and so forth. What does so and so forth mean? Let's have a look. You use and so on or and so forth at the end of a list to indicate there are other items that you could mention. Essentially, there are other items I could mention. I just can't remember them off the top of my head. The other Trill turn up and they go, yeah, you can't do this. This is breaking the law. Adira gets pulled into the pool. Michael jumps in after her. I don't know why Michael jumps in after her. I don't know why one of the Trills could. But again, plot point. Michael goes in and we see this really cool sort of visualization of sort of the memory of the Trill. And of course we see Adira herself and the memories trying to attach themselves to Adira. And I really liked it visually. I thought it was quite a cool effect, quite cool space. And of course we find out her backstory. Why can't she remember things? Because she suffered a traumatic experience. We see we see the previous host, Gray, and it turns out Gray was Adira's ex-boyfriend who tragically died, and that's why she ended up with the symbiote. And of course, by confronting that trauma, the symbiote goes, yep, we can be memories, we can be memory pals. Conjoin. We can be together and we can be fine. She comes out the pool. She's got all her memories. We see the previous hosts. We see some cool uniforms, by the way. Some really cool Starfleet uniforms. So we don't... Indicates to me that Tal as a symbiote is not very old, because, you know, we don't see any of the next gen uniforms or anything like that. It's all these weird fancy uniforms. Anyway, so we go back. We see... They go back into the caves, and the other Trill are like, "Wow, this is amazing!" Of course it is. You know, don't doubt. It shows that the Trill species has a future, because now humans can be symbiote hosts as well. They offered her to stay, and she goes, "No, I'm going to stay with Discovery." Of course she does. And so she's got her memories back, and yeah, it's pretty cool. And then at the end, you know, we're in Adira's quarters, and for some reason, Gray turns up, and he doesn't know what's there. And she doesn't know what's going on, but we're gonna find out. But she now plays a cello, so that's pretty cool. The B story, Culber opens up this episode. What I like about this season is that other characters are taking the lead. Other characters are getting developed. Other characters are getting time, and it's not just the Michael Burnham and the Saru show. And I really like that. I really enjoying it. So Culber, our doctor, is the one who's opens up the show. It's his logs. And basically everyone on the ship is really stressed out. I mean, they've just traveled 930 years into the future. They didn't even have time to stop off at T-Bay. They've just gone straight through to the future, not had time to deal with it. They're all a little bit stressed out. Kind of feels like a little bit, this was brought up on the Discord, by the way. You should totally join the Discord. It was brought up on the Discord channel that people are stressed because the life has changed, and that kind of mimics what's going on in our world today with coronavirus and lockdown. So Saru's like, how do I deal with this? Starts speaking to the computer, and then the computer has a personality change like straight away, like halfway through that, right? This kind of annoyed me a little bit, because he goes like, run a level 10 diagnostic, and the computer goes, no Dave, I can't do that. Pretty much along those lines. Saru doesn't question it as much as he should do. He sort of takes the suggestion, let's have a dinner, let's go to the cinema, Netflix and chill with the crew. So we move forward, we have this really, what starts off quite well, but then turns into like your typical family Christmas dinner. Like everything just goes wrong. Everyone starts arguing. Detmer has this moment where she has this strange rant about Stamets' blood. It kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere. I don't know, like maybe I've not remembered the previous season very well, but I didn't realize there was such a tension between Stamets and Detmer. But they sort of get really angry at each other, and it turns out that Detmer has PTSD. It's not that she's got some sort of magical thing, it's that she's, and I get it, right? She piloted the ship through the wormhole. Everyone almost died because of her piloting skills and crashing onto the planet. She had to take responsibility for that. She saw people injured because of her actions, and she had a hard time dealing with that. I get it. It was good. But it was they kind of hinted that it was more, but I'm glad that, you know, it's like, this is what it is, let's just talk about it. And I like that they're dealing with mental health issues a lot more in this episode. They're dealing with equality a lot more in this episode, obviously, with Adira. It's pretty cool this season. In the meantime, Stamets has, you know, Tilly's tried to explain, we could do this with the spore drive. Stamets shuts her down straight away, and then after the dinner, Stamets apologizes to Tilly for being Stamets, which is nice. But it shows you like all the characters, they are a family, and it feels this season that definitely the characters are coming together more like a family than they did in previous seasons. And at the end, they all end up sitting around watching Buster Keaton, because this is something I don't understand, right? We're set far in the future, and you know, you've got Captain Picard, who is into classical music. We've got they're all obsessed with stuff far in the past. None of them, you know, why weren't they watching Anchorman? That would have brought them together, Anchorman. But that's the end of the episode. There is a bit where Saru is like, maybe the ship is now looking after us, because this is all to do with the sphere data that's now inside the ship. The ship's becoming sentient. Who knows? I mean, we knew this was coming as well. If you watch the short treks, Calypso, we saw that the ship in the future was abandoned, but it was sentient. So we knew this was coming. I just didn't expect it to be such a sharp left and it would happen so quickly. This episode, what I liked about it was it felt like a proper Star Trek episode. Yeah, it felt, here we go, we've got something alien happening. We visited the Trill home world, and we did some, we had these sort of weird alien customs that we sort of saw that we used to do that in Next Generation all the time, previous Star Treks. We had all of that, and that was really, really cool. I like I love Adira as a character. I'm really enjoying her. She's sassy, she's intelligent, but very unsure of herself, and I really like the way that she's being played. I love. It's going to be interesting to do this Grey character. So it's very Umbrella Academy, that, isn't it? It's been done before, but I like it. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the season as well. I liked the B story. The B story felt like a Data's Day episode or a Lower Decks episode. Like it was fun just to see the crew interacting with each other, and it wasn't all to do with danger. It was actually to do with, look, we need to take out some time for ourselves. I really liked that. What I didn't like was there was a lot of stuff happened in this episode because story. Michael going down with Adira felt like because story. Saru accepting that the computer had a changed personality was because story. So it did feel a lot like these are things that just, we're not going to explain these things very well. We're just going to do these because they have to be done. So I didn't enjoy that bit of it. And I did feel that whilst it was a good episode and I did enjoy it, it was a very middle of the road episode. Like I much preferred the previous episodes. Especially the third episode, I much preferred it. Whereas this episode just felt a little bit slow compared to the others. But that's fine. That's fine. We need some episodes to let the story breathe. We've got plenty more episodes to go, and I'm sure it will turn out great. So that's my thoughts on episode 4, Forget Me Not. I hope you've enjoyed them. I hope you've been listening to my ramblings. If you have, make sure you hit subscribe, hit the alerts as well so you get a notification every time I upload a video onto here. And also, please come over to Twitch. Watch me stream. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I do things like play The Sims 4, play retro games, and of course I host my show Clash of Fandoms. Follow me and subscribe on that. Thank you very much, guys. Go have some fun.